All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Up and In Show. Normally, I am on the purple couch in Cards and Culture. I am in Cards and Culture, but I'm not on the purple couch. The purple couch is to my right over here because I have a special Zoom guest. Um, Spent some time in Baton Rouge for a while, and we're going to dive into that story. But Darrick Landreneau, I'm sorry. Thank you for joining me, dude. I know you're a busy person because of all the things that you're doing. You're a creator. You've made a really cool movie that we're going to dive into and talk about. But why don't you let our listeners, get a 1 minute, 2 minute recap of who you are and what you do and how you see yourself in the world?
Heck yeah, man. Well, hey everybody, my name is Darrick Landreneau. I am a officially a filmmaker, and which is really epic to say. I grew up in Shreveport, Louisiana. Went to college at LSU, where I filmed my first film called From My Eyes. It's the story of a young director that dreamed of a young college freshman at LSU who dreamed of becoming a director, and one day decided to pick up a camera and turn his life into his first film. And so back in 2012, October of 2012, I picked up a camera and pressed record on my life anywhere from 2 to 8 hours a day for over 3,000 days straight. And what unfolded was a modern day true coming of age story about a guy just trying to live a life worth filming. And so over the past 11 years, I filmed over 10,000 hours of footage, and my best friends and I sat down and went through all of that footage and turned it into a feature film that we premiered on YouTube about 2 weeks ago for free, called From My Eyes.
And it's absolutely incredible. If anybody hasn't seen it or is interested in seeing it, just do yourself a favor and go check out the trailer. We'll have the trailer in the show notes, so if you guys are listening, it'll be on YouTube. We'll redirect you guys to the YouTube link. And it's really impressive. And with Cards and Culture, we're a collectible shop, but we have a media company. So the storytelling is what's always intrigued me about having a collectible shop, right? And so that's what your whole movie is about. And like you said at the end of the movie, I don't want to give too many spoilers
Oh,
away.
bro, if you haven't seen the movie, pause, go watch it, and come back to this because we are a spoiler zone today.
I know, yeah,
Whatever you
because
want to know, bro, we're diving in.
all right, because you said it was going to be about your life, and when you think college freshman, and things like that, I immediately got, oh, this is cool. Like, and I was doing the timeline of when you were going to be at LSU, when you're going to be in Hollywood, how social media has changed, right? And things like that. And I was like, oh, this will be interesting. But then you figure out it's more about family. It's about your journey. It's about love and a relationship with your mom and things like that. And again,
Yeah.
I don't want to get into too much of the spoiler alerts, but I do want to dive into the emotion behind it and what you learned through that process, right? And that's what this is about. So I kind of want to just back up and start from the beginning. Talk to me about your childhood growing up. Was film and being an artist or a creator kind of in your life, and that was something you did because your dad played football, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
where did this creative kind of sense come from for you?
I think it all definitely started whenever my dad picked up a camera and basically filmed all of us growing up. He had this giant throw it on your shoulder, press record straight to a VHS camera, very, very 90s. And so like back at home, we have probably, it's easy to say, like hundreds of hours of footage on VHS tapes of us growing up, and so I know there was definitely a documenter that was instilled in my heart and in my soul through my upbringing. My dad was definitely not a filmmaker, but my cousin Ben Costley was. He
Okay.
would always steal my dad's camera and make like home movies and stuff like that. And I think a lot of that probably just rubbed off on me, and I fell in love with movies at a young age. I, like a lot of other people, have a very messy childhood, parents divorced, stuff like that. And but one of the things that was not messy was our relationship with God, as well as my relationship with film. And film was always an escape for me, and in so many ways allowed me to feel a lot of feelings that I would have to feel down the road, but in a safe environment of a dark room with a bunch of strangers in a movie theater.
Yeah, yeah,
And so one of my favorite, and one of the reasons that I let me restart. One of the reasons I wanted to be a film director is I wanted to make content and films and pretty much anything that leaves audiences better and more prepared than they were before they came in for life. And so, because that's what movies did for me. I mean,
yeah,
from Jurassic Park all the way to, Cars. I mean, like,
yeah,
there's usually in most great movies, there's a story of change and lessons that you can take and bring into your life. And so, that all started whenever I was a kid, and I just fell in love with movies way back then.
yeah. No, I love it. That's awesome. And so when you first got to campus, were you studying journalism? Were you in the film world? Is that like what you decided to major in?
No, bro, I was a biology major.
Stop
My
it.
No, dude, my mom wanted me to be a doctor. She wanted me to continue in the family business. My dad was a transplant surgeon, and his whole side of the family is all doctors and lawyers.
Wow.
And then my mom is the only, like, she wasn't a medical doctor, she wasn't MD, but she had a PhD, and she was a research doctor. And so and my mom and dad met at a hospital where my dad was a surgeon, and fell in love and had
Wow.
babies, and
Oh.
that's where I came from. And then but yeah, no, whenever I was at LSU, my sorry, my bad.
No, you're good.
But yeah, at LSU, I was a biology major my freshman year, and I
Unbelievable.
hated it. I
Yeah.
hated it so much, man. And but my mom wanted me to get a day job. She wanted, if I was going to be a director, I had to have a degree that could get me a day job. And that
Yeah.
was, I know that is a timeless statement for so many people. You have to be able to work somewhere if you're gonna,
Chase a dream or do something
yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So
And
traditional.
so I definitely
Yeah.
tried, but that, I needed a creative outlet, and that's ultimately what From My Eyes became, as well as the jobs that followed.
Wow. That's so, I mean, again, my show is about how you got to where you're at, right? Because I think people can see where you're at now and be like, that's amazing. So I think something that you said right there of having two doctors in the family, and a family that comes from doctors and lawyers, and then for their son to be studying biology, and then to say, you know what, I'm actually going to do this, and I'm going to study or go into the creative field or whatever, a little bit more, is probably a little bit of a jarring thing for parents. So talk to me what that experience was like, kind of breaking free from their and again, it comes from love and them wanting to do the right
Oh
thing
yeah.
for you, that kind of stuff. But talk to me what it was like to try to kind of break free from that, to chase something that truly made you happy.
Definitely. Well, I think all growing up, so again, my parents were divorced from a young age, and we went on a crazy journey of, like, from having money to no money, and all of that, and my mom just becoming just a boss of a lady,
That's
and
cool.
raising my sister and I, and ultimately things before my dad passed away, like, worked out. All of that to say, um, it was it was definitely difficult, and you see that in the movie. It
Yeah.
was it was my mom, all growing up, used to always say, like, wouldn't life be a whole lot more fun if we had just known we were going to live through it? Or if you have a dream job, if you have something big. I used to tell her, like, Mom, I want to be rich so I can give to the homeless and, like, give so much of it away. And she would always say, Darrick, start with what you have. Like, and so start now. And so she even though she wanted me to have a day job, she unknowingly, or maybe knowingly, ensued a ton of wisdom that ultimately pushed me away from a traditional education, in biology, and to become a doctor, which I just was not made to so, to pass those classes, bro. They were, and thank God, because if they freely gave out medical degrees, our planet would be a mess. So I
Yeah.
am proof that at least that education track is letting good people in.
Yeah.
So
And dude,
Um,
you have a gift to give to the world too. That's create, and not that doctors don't. They have a crazy gift, but
oh,
right,
they're
but it's
superheroes.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. But yours
yeah.
is more broad and meant to be more extroverted and things like that and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, dude, it's funny how that goes though. That's
But my mom always said this, like, and there's so much that people aren't able to see in this final cut, more that even comes out in the director's cut of the film, which is available as well. Um,
nice.
in the description of the final cut. The subtle plug, but
Yeah,
um, you she always encouraged me to move forward with any creative ideas that I had,
that's
as
awesome.
long as I was still doing well in school. And so, you know, and then ultimately I learned that you know I gotta do this. Like I
Yeah.
gotta do it. And and you get to see this in the film in a really cool way whenever I've spent the past 3 years talking about myself in the third person. So for the conversation I may continue, like you see that in the film when Darrick takes this huge leap and actually not only has to prove it to his mom and his family that he can do it, but also has to prove it to himself. And so and that ultimately that's what every creator has to do, because it's one thing to dream about being an artist and I want to make big things and be famous, and it's another thing to realize, okay, what am I actually doing this for? Is it to be famous, or is it because I want to because it services a much larger why? And over the course of this past 11 years, I've ultimately learned that I'm following a dream why and not a dream job, and I
Mm,
love that.
dude, well, do you want to dive into a little bit of that then for us?
Heck yeah.
Because tell us a little bit about that why and what you learned on that journey that where you figured it out.
Easiest yes I've ever yesed, bro.
I love it.
My I was ironically I was walking on LSU's campus a few years ago and I was like, dang, dude, nobody knows me here anymore. And I miss that. I was like, I miss that feeling of like walking around campus. People knew me as the camera guy or the crazy guy on the Jumbotron in that wild LSU suit that I used to wear. And I was like, God, why do I want to be known? Like, why do I want that? And I was like, I don't think it's pride. It could be pride. Maybe it is pride. Like, I don't know. And then I
Yeah.
was like, I think it's bigger. I think it's bigger than that. And so I started this like 9 month walk with God, just figuring that out. Cause I go on walks with God every morning, man. And, or most mornings. I haven't been for probably a couple weeks now because this project has been taking up so much time. But before this project started, I would go on these long walks. And over the course of probably like 9 months, I realized my why is I want to love people and bring joy and peace to people like God has loved me and brought joy and peace to me, while encouraging creativity and making excellence easy, all while creating daily with my best friends. And if I can do that as a film director, I can do that as a production apprentice, I can do that as a barista, I can do
Yep.
that probably not as a trained killer. That's probably out.
There
But I
might
can
not be a
do.
lot. If there is a lot of joy in that, we got a lot of
Yeah,
concerns. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah.
may be more of a problem than
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. I've
exactly.
provided so much fulfillment from a contract killing job, but most like I realized that day that I'm not just a director. Like I grew up thinking I'm a director, and people would ask me, why do you want to be a director? And I'm like, because it's the only thing I'm good at. I can only tell stories. Like I know God made me to be a director. Pish posh, bro. No.
Yeah.
I am Darrick Landreneau, and I get to wake up and encourage creativity and make excellence easy as a director, as a best friend, as a stranger on a street buying a cup of coffee. Like, dude, I can do that in so many ways, and that's what I wake up every morning wanting to do for the rest of my life now. And I'm so grateful that I know that by age 30, man, level 30. And I can't
Exactly.
wait
That's
to live the rest of my life doing that. So that's the why that I run after now.
we're gonna clip that and hang on to that for life, dude. I'm serious because
Oh, bro.
yeah, I'm serious because that's I mean, I was fortunate enough to play college baseball, played professionally for 7 or 8 years, and now I have a collectible shop and I work with some We have 5 or 6 employees that work here, and I'm telling you, like, I have the best team. I love my job every day. You know, like, I love coming to work. I love talking to high level individuals like yourself. Like,
Whatever.
I'm serious, man.
Whatever.
It's inspirational. Think about doing something every day for 10 years. Like, just think, like, that's greatness to me. Like, you've
Yeah.
dedicated yourself to a decade worth of stuff. You've put in 10,000 hours and become an expert in something because you're
Mm,
chasing your dream, dude. Like, that's amazing, like, to
dude.
me. And that's what, again, this whole thing is. Like, I played baseball my whole life, so I put in my 10,000 hours there, and I did the thing and made it to the level. And now I get to share joy every single day when kids come in my shop, right, and find their
Oh,
favorite player on a card, or tell them a story about one of their favorite players that I played against, or connect them with somebody that is their current superhero right now, you know, and
yeah,
things like that. Or
dude.
just shed light on something that you're doing that is positive in the world and inspires them to do something great in the world and stuff
Oh
like
yeah. Oh yeah. Mom, can I introduce you to Anthony? He
that.
looks beautiful. And she walked in at the perfect time because this is something. This is
Yes,
Anthony.
hello.
This is my mom, Jennifer. I think.
Nice to meet you,
Can you say
Jennifer.
hi?
Oh wow, he's putting
Hi.
you, no pressure. You sound great in the mic too. You sound great. You're killing it.
No, I was thinking, and you don't have to stay unless you want to.
It's nice to meet you.
I love
Nice
you.
meeting you too.
When she walked in, I was reminded of this, dude. Like somebody asked me the other day, because we live in such a world that's just fueled by money and fame and all of this stuff. And somebody asked me like, a couple months ago when we started thinking about releasing From My Eyes for free, and it hit me, I was like, dude, I am the richest human being on planet Earth because of my God, my family, and my friends. And Anthony, I feel really sorry for you because you will never be richer than me because you can't be my friend. Like, you can't be your friend. Sorry, let me re-say that.
You
'Cause
can't be my friend.
Yeah, bro. We're friends now.
Damn
Welcome
it.
to friendship. No, but like, you'll never be richer than me, dude, because you can't be your friend. Like,
Yeah.
I am. But dude, I encourage you to try and to find incredible friends, man. And that's one of the lessons in the film that I just want people to walk away with is like, I learned 3 huge things while I was making From My Eyes. Put God first, let him take care of the rest, man. Quit stressing, dude. Just put God first. Let him take care of the rest. Surround yourself with people that want more for you than from you and do the same for them, dude. Like, that is huge, man. Don't surround yourself with people that are just sucking the life out of you. Like, surround yourself with people that are filling you up and allow you to pour out on others through your overflow. And then finally, live a life worth filming and live a life as if the world is watching, man. And whenever you make mistakes and wrong decisions, get back up and run hard again. Like, brush yourself off and keep going. And that's the hero's journey, man. And like, I could talk about story archetypes and all of that and just tell you why the hero's journey is the best journey. But I know you have other questions and maybe for another time.
This is a podcast, man. We're telling your story. So if there's ever anything you want to go on, this is why you have the mic there. And this, again, my podcast is about shedding light on what if I see something that I think is inspiring or great or whatever, that's what my podcast is about. So if there's any time that you want to go on a rant, this is what it's about. So and that to me is, I love just hearing people's perspective, people that I see from a distance that I respect, that I admire, that are doing great things in the world. So you can say whatever you want on this podcast, and I'm here for it all and everything. So I appreciate
Thank
the
you,
wisdom.
Anthony. That means the world to me, bro. I hope to continue to live up to that. That is the goal.
Yeah, well, you don't need to. Just being you every single day and doing the things and putting the energy into, and honestly, just doing the things like that I hear that you're saying is like that we need. I shouldn't say we need more people in the world like that, but I think people can hear this perspective more and maybe try it out more, because I think there's a lot of people that are closed-minded and don't think that living their dream like this that you're expressing is possible, right? Like, I don't think people have the faith in God or whatever they choose to believe in, right? Like,
and dude, it's impossible. What From My Eyes was impossible. Period, dude.
Yep.
It was impossible. Figure it out. Do it anyways. Like,
I love okay, so talk to me about that. And it's probably easier to talk about now because for the 10 years in the journey, it wasn't as clear as, oh, it's going to be called For My Eyes and it's going to be a 10-year journey of me and it's going to be a film and all this stuff is going to happen. So talk to me about that, of like how you figured it out and how it became this great thing that we're talking about now.
Oh yeah, dude. It was always from my eyes. I can tell you that.
Okay,
It
cool,
was
cool.
always
Okay,
from my
cool.
eyes, man. And it was always going to be a movie. That was
Nice.
it. But our tagline in the original trailer that I made after freshman year, you kind of see a peek of it at the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
was it says there's a story, we just don't know what it is yet. And that isn't that life, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a story here, we just don't know what it is yet.
It's literally
And
life. Yeah. Every day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And whenever you start living your life like that, like I mean, God blessed me with this, with the opportunity to make From My Eyes. I can't believe that I got to do this for my first film. And it was horrifyingly hard, like very, very difficult. And it was also the most like, I mean, just amazing, beautiful season of my life, because it taught me that whenever I pressed export for the final time, that it wasn't the end of that season. I'm crossing the threshold again. But all of that to say, like, whenever I carried a camera around everywhere I went, it allowed me to start seeing life in this new way of as a character in a story. And no
Nice.
matter
Oh,
what, if
wow.
I just continued filming, if I just believed that it was all going to work out, if I just kept filming, pretty much, I knew I've got another day of fighting. Like, I've got another day of a great story. And brother, like, I dare you, name one single great movie and great story without incredible opposition. Like, I dare you. You can't.
No.
Like, and
Nothing
for
great was yeah, ever came easy. There's no
Oh,
way.
dude. Yeah, somebody said this the other day about we were talking about parents. She had just watched From My Eyes, and she's like, my parents were really overbearing as well. And I was like, how did you get through it? And she said, well, I talked to my brother once, and he said that some of the greatest fighters in the UFC have the most outlandish and I can't think of the right word. Um what's the word for, like, doing it outside, like outside of the mold, basically, like,
Yeah.
dang it,
I
Ron, do you
feel
know
like
where?
unconventional.
Unconventional, yes. So some of the greatest fighters in the UFC had some of the most unconventional coaches, and but it turned them into the great fighters that they are. And my mom was very unconventional,
Yes.
and my sister and I talk about that a lot. And but I'm grateful. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for the time that I had with my mom, and I'm grateful that she prepared me for life, and all of the seasons that would come.
One of the questions that I was thinking about, you were talking about hitting export, and even like
Oh
towards
yeah.
the end of the film, you were like, I think one of the things that really grabbed me was like, you were like, I want to live a life worth filming. It
Mhm.
was just, when do you like, how do you, I forget how you said it, but you said, what's worth sharing or something
Oh
along those
yeah,
lines,
yeah,
right?
yeah. There's this moment right before you press export where
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
ask yourself, not if this is worth doing or if it was worth filming, but is this worth sharing?
Yes.
Yeah.
That to me, I got chills right
I
now,
got
even thinking of,
chills.
yeah,
I got
I'm like,
chills just
dude,
now. Bro,
and
with that
it's so,
score from Darrick Hughes in the background, y'all got to check out Darrick Hughes, dude. He is a
okay.
freaking boss. But yeah, he did the full. Him and I grew up going to church camp together, and he scored the entire film. Man, he's a weapon.
That's well, whoever did it. I mean, it was amazing, and that's where it's like I think even just the psychology hit me there. So like, when did you decide that it was worth making into like this type of film that was an hour and 44 minutes long? You know, like and worth sharing with the world.
Dude, there was a lot of clear moments where we were like, this is it, this is the final cut. And I mean, I don't know if you're asking, like, originally it was back in the fall of 2017, right after my mom passed away. I was like, okay, it's time to make the movie. There's a clear ending. and
Yeah.
and there's a William Shakespeare quote. It says, every drama ends with a funeral, every comedy with a wedding. And I used to say, and this movie has both. And so that was what we were kind of working on. But what I didn't know was that I was going to have to wait and work and process everything that happened until for multiple years until I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm finally ready. And ultimately, the thing that pushed me and lit a fire under me to finish the film was back in 2020. Dude Perfect. Are you familiar with Dude Perfect?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I'm like one of their biggest fans. I love Dude Perfect, man.
Me too. Yeah. I love them.
Dude Perfect released a backstage documentary about their tour. And there's a season and there's a point in it where they talk about the moment they all almost walked away from Dude Perfect.
Really.
And it was a very clearly defined moment where they had to decide either we're doing this or we're taking our majors that we all got in college and going and getting to work.
Yeah.
And they said, obviously one day they were like, okay, we're doing it. Who's going to tell our wives? Like, and
Yeah.
they took this huge leap and they put God first in it. And within a couple of months, they had gotten their first brand deal with Nerf. And I watched them take a huge leap, and I realized it's time. Like I was sitting there, and like many movies in the past that I've watched, just felt like a tug in my spirit that's like, this is for you.
Yeah.
And I knew that was for me, and I was like, okay, it's time to make this movie. And I had directing gigs, like I was good money wise, all of that, and I was like, I just felt like God had laid it on my heart. You need to stop directing until From My Eyes is done. And so I took a
Wow.
huge sidestep. I just a previous girlfriend and I, who's not in the movie, we broke up right before that, and Zach came in town, and I was like, it's time to make the movie. And he said, okay, I'll help you on one condition. And I was like, what? He's like, you don't date at all until the movie's released. And I was like, okay. And so there was this huge high that happened, and we went back to Shreveport. I left my house in the middle of Hollywood that I loved, with my roommate Jesse Dueck, who's a producer on the film.
Really?
Yeah, him and I talked, and I was like, it's time. And he's like, dude, get out of here and don't come back to LA until it's done. And so
Wow.
I didn't step foot back in LA for over 2 years, for about 2 years.
Wow.
And I grounded myself from going back to LA. I was like, I can't do it. I'll get distracted, all of that. It
Yeah.
was also nice because COVID was going on. And so it was a lot of restrictions to go back.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say LA during COVID was probably not as advantageous. Baton Rouge was nowhere near like other places and
yeah,
stuff like that. It
dude.
was very
Yeah.
chill. Yeah.
It was a hard time, man. And
Yeah.
but that's for another podcast.
Yeah.
But I went back, and so it took us 6 months to make the first 5 minutes of the movie. Because we
Oh my
had
God.
there's so much that goes into literally just the first 5 minutes of a movie, man. All of the rules are set. People get acclimated. There's so many things you have to tee up in the first 5 to 10 minutes that allow the rest of the movie to work. And it was mind numbing. And then we worked for a year to get the very first cut of the film down to 2 hours and 28 minutes. And then we worked for a whole other year to cut 30 minutes out of that. And then I went back to LA to meet up with my film mentor. His name's Garrett Warren. He is we did not deserve his guidance or anything. Garrett is a general in Hollywood and opened up his heart and his time to us to sit in a sandbox with us and help us build this castle of a movie. And
Yeah. Wow.
I'm forever grateful for Garrett. And he's James Cameron's second unit director, so he's done all of the stunt directing and coordinating for every big Hollywood movie you've ever heard of. So like all the
Wow. Okay.
Transformers, Avatar, Ready Player One, all of these things. Logan, he's a dadgum weapon, dude, and his team's amazing. I could talk for days about the Warrens and his team, but we went and met with him, and he's like, Darrick, first, you're a filmmaker now. And I was like, wow. And he's like, so say that out loud real quick. And I was like, I'm a filmmaker. And it was this
Yeah.
clear moment in my career. I'll never forget that. And then he's like, okay, now that we've got that out of the way, the movie's good. He's like, but it's not going to sell. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, Darrick, it's a love letter to depression. And I was like, oh, dude. And he's like, I have not been more sad in my life. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he said, so you can either say, you're an artist and forget the world. This is your movie and you're releasing it as is, or you can say, I'm a businessman and I am going to make the movie that's going to sell and that people actually want to see. And I
Yeah.
didn't like either of those choices. And I went home that day and I talked with Zach and I was like, we definitely need to change stuff. I hate that with my whole heart. And
Yeah.
but we got to do it. And I was like, I don't want to just be a businessman and I don't want to just be an artist. I want to find that medium line. And for the next 3 months, between August and December 15th of 2022, Zach and I made an entirely new cut of the film, which is the one that we released and is now on YouTube for free. And so,
Oh my God.
so what's cool is Garrett was ultimately right. It did not sell,
Yeah.
but people have enjoyed it and they haven't been depressed at the end. So it was a win-win for both of us, in my in my opinion. So I got,
Yes.
but the final cut is why we released the movie. The director's cut is why I made the movie, and I hope one day it's available again, and I hope maybe one day you get to watch that. But if not, man, I'm just so honored that you got to experience the final cut.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about the business of filmmaking and that kind of stuff. So you said, your mentor said that you can be a businessman or an artist, right?
Mhm.
So how would you have made money on a film that you made like this?
Ooh, I would have had to tell a different story that wasn't what happened
Okay.
entirely. Like I would have had to. We were already telling a perspective of the truth. I would have had to give an outward perspective of my perspective, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and so I would have had to have made a movie about some kid who dreams about becoming a Hollywood director and then succeeds at it, and that's it. And
Right.
so, rather than telling a real story, that shows all of the things that you ultimately have to sacrifice to be able to be in the film industry
Yeah.
for some people, and that balance of what do I actually want to sacrifice and what is worth sacrificing for what I'm doing. And dude, like it I tell people, like, how do I say this? Like, I tell people who want to go into the film industry the same thing that I tell people who want to go to Bible school and spend $200,000 to become a minister. I'm like, God had better be calling you to go to Hollywood. Like, God had
Yeah.
better be calling you to do these things, because if he's not, then I'm seriously questioning your why in life and why you're going out there. Because if you don't have a solid why going into the film industry, going to Hollywood, going into any of this, Chris Pratt says it so well. If the light shining out on you, sorry, if the light shining on you is brighter than the light coming out of you, it's going to burn you to a crisp. Um,
Mm,
if you go into LA without knowing why you're there, dude, it's going to be a mess, and you may find your
yeah.
way. And I've seen my friends find their way, and I've also had friends ruin their lives, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've had friends ruin their lives and then make a comeback. And I've had friends
Right.
that have never been able to fully recover, and I've had friends that have died. And I'm like, it's a very real place. It's real.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not the Hollywood that you dreamed of whenever you were a kid. But that's why I want to be in this, because every project moving forward, I've learned, oh, I can create the Hollywood that I dreamed of as a kid.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we have
That's
all of the
reality, right?
tools,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I literally, like, Anthony, get this, bro. It would be very easy to look at where I'm at right now and say this dude spent 11 years on a project and failed to sell it and had to release it for free on YouTube. This is how I see it. Brother, 12 years ago, YouTube was not popping. It was
Right.
a place where viral meant 10 to 100,000 views. Viral now means freaking millions of views. And that's
Yeah.
not where our film is yet. I don't know if it will become that. But 12 years ago, the social space was a completely different landscape.
Hmm.
Now, because of where we're at, I have the ability to where once I thought movie theaters was the largest platform that I could ever release my film on. Um, I now have the ability to release a full length film to the world for
Hmm.
free, and
Yep.
anybody can watch it on the largest platform on planet Earth.
Yeah.
What?
That to me is that's where I'm saying is like I, my business mind goes like, yeah, you can go shop it around and sell it to people, and like try to
Dude.
get it on the main streaming services, but YouTube is the main, and then you're letting the
Yeah.
market decide, right? You're not letting Netflix push your film into people's living rooms. You're letting people find who you are and what you're doing through the avenues that are organic, and then like
Yeah.
that's true market feedback, right?
Yes, dude. Forget, dude. I love Netflix. I love Netflix. It was a dream to get From My Eyes on Netflix. Anybody you ask in my circle, dream was Netflix, period.
Yeah.
But I realized Netflix, at least for now, was not the place for our film. It doesn't come down to money. Like it doesn't come down to what people on a board or an algorithm or whatever decides.
Right.
This movie, what will make it um what will make it grow are the people who watch it. And I
Hmm.
love that, dude. If
Yeah.
you enjoyed this film, share it with a friend. This
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
my gift and my team's gift to the world, because I'm not From My Eyes is much bigger than me. I am not the only person that made the decision to release this for free.
Yeah.
Zach Trammell, Jesse Dueck, Caleb Phillips, Candice Landreneau, Ray Scruggs, Lexi Malilly, Marcus Johns, Christian Del Grosso, Cameron Dallas, all of these people I got resounding yeses from, and encouragement and support. And all of these people were like, bro, do it. Get it out there. Derek
Yeah.
Hughes, dude. This guy spent 2 years with me scoring this film with a dude who's never had any experience scoring a film before, let alone
Yeah.
directing a composer to do that. None of us had any idea what we were doing, bro. And we spent thousands of hours working on this piece. I'm not over exaggerating, thousands of hours, and we released it for free, bro.
Yeah. But hey, to me, that's where I'm like, I think there's power in that. And that's where it's like in today's world of streaming, content is, people need content. So that's what I'm saying is like, if you put it out there, you never know. Here, I'm just saying from an example, right? Like maybe somebody buys it. I'm just using round numbers, but maybe you shop it and you go get your first meeting with Netflix and they're like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, we'll buy it. And they know it's your first film. Here's $100,000 and you're pumped and you're like, yes, right. And you
Yeah,
get 100,000, maybe it kills it and it would have made millions, right? Or whatever.
sure.
And all this stuff. Now you threw it on YouTube, and maybe now Netflix comes in and hey, the price tag is this now because it's gotten X amount of views. You have
For
a
sure.
following, you have all this stuff. So that's why I'm
Yeah,
like the way things go, like life goes the way that it's supposed to. So that's where I'm like,
definitely.
throw it out to the
Marcus,
market, yeah, let
yeah.
people love it, and then let them come back and be like, hey, actually, we were wrong, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
even more validation to you and the things that you want to do.
Oh yeah, dude. In the project we're working on right now, one of my co-producers on it, his name's Marcus Johns, and he says it so well. He's like, we create it, we put it out there, and we let the internet reward what is good content. We let them
Yep,
decide.
I love that.
Like, because people are smart. People are smart. We don't have to spoon feed like streamers and all of this. Like, they don't have to spoon feed us content and say this is good, because
Right.
we'll tell you if it's not. Like,
Yeah,
and we're
exactly.
gonna
Yeah.
turn it off. Like,
Yeah.
and so like, dude, I my level of success for From My Eyes was reached on December 15th to 2022, whenever I've pressed export for the final time.
Love it. Yeah.
Like, and my level of success was met again on December 1st of this year when we released it. Like, like I am closer.
Yeah.
I am healthier mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially, and all of these
Yeah.
things than I was at the beginning. I have the best friends imaginable. I'm closer than I've ever been with everybody closest to me. Like, I'm the richest dude on planet Earth. I am the definition of success.
I love it.
And dude, the people that have reached out, that I've gotten to pray with, that I've gotten to encourage, that I've gotten to, like, that our team has gotten to pour into, and just, man, just be excited for, like, people who are saying, oh my gosh, I've wanted to do this my whole life.
Yeah,
Maybe I can do that now. Heck yeah, bro. Darrick,
yeah,
can I use the name From My Eyes and make it From My Eyes? Heck yeah, you can, bro.
yeah.
From My Eyes isn't like, I own the name for my production company, but dude, like, I would love that if people started telling their real, true, raw life stories, not just vlogs, bro. Like,
And
real, raw stories with purpose and real change, dude, from their eyes, from your eyes. Like, Anthony, what's cool about the name From My Eyes? Say From My Eyes.
from my eyes.
Now it's from yours, dude. Like
Yeah.
that, it's not just me. It's not
Yep.
just me, bro. And that's like, and I got a glimpse, bro. Oh, Anthony, I got a glimpse of my replacements in this world when I released this film. I got a glimpse of people that will be here well after I'm gone, still creating. That is the dream, dude. The
That's
fact that
awesome.
I could possibly have a hand in inspiring the next generation to make content that actually matters. Good morning.
Yes.
Morning.
And that's what we're here for, right? I mean, that's what you put on this
Yes.
earth for. That's what I believe. And that's what you're doing. And I think you're doing a great job of it. And that's what even so my podcast, like it's called the Up and In Show, is like when I played baseball, I struggled with the up and in fastball, but I also want to get up and in on the minds of my guests, because just like hearing your perspective and what you have to give to the world, and right. And like a lot of people assume successful people or athletes or the entrepreneurs that I'm interviewing have it all figured out and have never struggled. And right. And most of those stories are actually, oh shit, they struggled worse than I did. And like,
Yeah.
or they have it just like I do, and I can do it. I can inspire, and that's what you're doing. And
Yeah.
I mean, even things that I think I resonate with from the film, like that are deep and that are penetrating, that are emotional, hit on emotional triggers, right? Like your mom wasn't a fan of your girlfriend, and that's heavy for people. I think
Yeah.
that's reality. I think, and full transparency, like in the last year and a half, 2 years, I've been on the other end of that, where I've been somebody whose family didn't approve, right? And like, and
Mm,
for various different reasons and things like that. So again, just seeing different people's perspectives, seeing how they handled those things,
mm.
seeing how heavy that can be on different people and stuff, and how
Yeah.
you have to navigate that stuff is really cool. So
Well,
can
dude,
you talk? Yeah, talk. I want you to talk on that a
I
little
just
bit. Go ahead.
I just want to say, like, I don't know your full situation or what's going on fully, and I doubt you want to share it all on a podcast right now, but because I know from experience that footage had to marinate for a bit before I could ever share it.
I
But
imagine, yeah.
brother, one of the biggest lessons I learned through that season, man, there's a difference between life and death. There's a difference between life and death disagreements and freaking brain cancer. Get some space and get over it. Like, uh, don't waste your time being angry at each other. Don't waste your
Yeah.
time tearing each other apart. Like, now I gotta freaking go into these archetypes, bro. Do you know the 4 archetypes in every great story?
No.
The victim,
Enlighten me.
the villain, the hero, and the guide. Brother, we all start out as victims at some point. We are
Yeah.
all victims. Life happens. Arguably, the moment we're born onto this earth, we're a victim, bro.
Yeah.
Stuff goes down the moment we take our first breath.
Yep.
Victim, dude. We went
I
from,
would I would argue to say that even in the womb, there's a lot of things going on depending on who our moms were, right?
for
Moms and
sure, bro.
dads.
For sure, man. But like, we all are a victim at some point, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Victims feel trapped, dude. We feel trapped for a season, and that's okay. And we have that choice to either get out of there or get angry and start bringing other people down with us and become a villain, dude.
Yeah.
Villains were once victims who felt trapped and said, I'm not going to be trapped alone. I'm bringing people down with me, dude. And they just want everyone else to be stuck with them, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lame, dude.
Yeah.
We're all victims at some point, and if we're feeling trapped and we say, "Wait a second, I'm not staying trapped. I am getting the funk out of here, bro.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. And I can't do this alone. And I'm taking as many people out of here with me, dude. That is
Yeah.
a hero. In The Martian, Matt Damon talks about it. He says, his final line, he says, this is space and it's interchangeable with life. So this is life. At some point, everything is going to go south. And we're going to say, this is it. This is how I end. And you can either say, all right, I'm going to roll over and die, or you can get to work. You solve one problem and then the next problem and then the next problem. You do the math, you keep solving problems. And if you solve enough problems, you get to go home. Like, that's what heroes do, bro. And whenever
Yeah.
you're a hero of your own story, whenever you're a hero and you are fully changed by the thing that tried to make you a victim for the rest of your life, you become a guide to future heroes, bro. Guides are people that were heroes in a story before that get to tell the people that are going through the same trials how the cheat codes, bro. They get to tell the cheat codes. And brother, a cheat code for disagreements in the family, bro, give it space. And it definitely takes two to tango. But brother, if people can be present enough and awake enough to know, like, dude, 5 seconds just went by that we're never getting back.
Yeah.
Like,
I love what,
wait, huh?
no, I was just saying, like, and it's what right. Your mom said this and had the phrase, feel it, move on. That was something
Feel
you
it,
wrote, like, move on.
feel it, learn from it, and move
Love
on.
that. Yes.
Feel it, feel all of it. Anthony, feel it all. Don't numb any of it. Don't do it with sex, drugs, anything unhealthy.
Anything. I mean,
Bro,
there's so many
don't.
things that get a dopamine hit, right? To
Yes,
numb
dude.
that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
many things, dude. Don't run from it. Feel it. Because if you don't feel it now, you're going to have to feel it down the road, dude.
Eventually,
And it's
somewhere
only
it's going to show its head, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. Feel it. Feel all of it. Don't numb it. Learn whatever lesson you can find in it, even if it's just something evil happened that you didn't deserve. Like, my mom didn't deserve brain cancer.
No.
There were lessons that we all learned through that and that we found and that God revealed to me, to my mom, and that I got to share in a movie, man. Feel it,
Yeah.
learn from it, and move forward with it, bro. God provides, man. I've got zero proof that God does not provide. I needed a family,
Got
bro.
it.
I
Yeah.
got a family, man. God, I never thought I would have parents again. Period, dude.
Yeah.
Ever. And I needed a mom and dad. I needed them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I needed my mom and dad. And then God gave me a new my mom and dad. Man, I'm
Yeah.
so grateful for that. And God's just so grateful. So all of that to say, you were gonna ask a question before I went on that rant, but I had to say, man, whatever's going on with your family and all of that, like, last thing, dude. The more I experience God's forgiveness, the more I realize how much grace and mercy I need to show other people around me, like, in
Yeah.
patience. And all of that is patience, dude. I'm gonna share my screen with you real quick just so you can see this, because this has been released, but give me a second.
I love it.
You're getting a view of all of this. Hold on, it's not right there. Like, brother, the last thing I would have ever said was possible was for these people to all five be sitting in a room laughing together. Do you see this? This is us. We recorded a commentary of From My Eyes with Lexi, my sister, Caleb, and Ray, and me. Like,
Wow.
this doesn't make sense, bro. Look at us just freaking laughing together. Like, that does
Yep.
not make sense. That's forgiveness, and that was a daggum mess, bro.
Yep.
And
I love that. And the reason I say I can relate to that because I grew up I have a older half brother, older half sister. And growing up, their mom was at every one of our family parties. She still went and shopped with my aunts, who were my dad's sisters. She was best friends with my mom, right? And so you could, divorce is messy, like
Yeah.
families are messy and things like that. But we chose to say, look, things went wrong with my dad and Joanne early on, but we got it all figured out. And we all love each other. We're all happy and that kind of stuff. So I couldn't agree more, right? And that's
Dude.
where I tell people the fear of failure, anger, jealousy, all those things, like it's not worth it. You have a choice of how you want to perceive that situation happening to you. You can't
Yeah.
control what happens to you or how it happens or those kinds of things, but you're 100% in control of that response. And that's what you're saying. You're
Oh yeah.
saying to choose it. You feel how it feels, you learn from it and understand how you can maybe change it and avoid it in the future or make it better in the future. But then you just move on and you live and you
Yes.
love and you find happiness and in so many different ways. So that's and that last video that you just showed is so perfect because it's like exes, like people that you work with, it's like best friend, and everybody coming together. And in a 10-year journey, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. And for you guys
Yes.
to have that at the end, to be able to sit there and watch it and laugh is everything. That's it.
Bro, the worst of enemies are now the
Yep.
best of enemies, bro.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
like my sister and Lexi are friends now. Like,
That's
what?
so crazy. Yep. And she just they wanted you. Yeah, that's so wild. And even Lexi too, right? To be able to have the perspective. I'm sure she's seen the film and seen things where they didn't want her involved and they wanted you to cut her out and stuff for her to exercise forgiveness, to exercise grace, right? For your like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like everybody had to play a role and a part in that.
Oh yeah, dude, and the trust that my family and friends gave me to make this movie, I'll never, ever, ever forget, man. Like, it was
Having a
never.
camera around for 10 years is tough. That's like
Oh
that's
yeah. Well,
interesting.
and
Yeah.
there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of things I caught on film, bro,
I bet.
but we told a truthful and an honest story that was not a hit piece.
Yeah.
Like nobody, no, if there was an enemy or an antagonist, it was life, and
Yeah.
life is difficult, and we all face life at some point,
I love
and
it.
and and you can make it. You can make it, man. If the only person standing between you and what you dream of is you, what?
Yep. No, don't let that happen.
Get
No.
on it, bro. Go
Yeah.
do it.
And one thing I've learned about life, I not one thing, but one of the things that keeps me going all the time is like it's so simple. It's like one thing I've learned about life is it goes on, right? With you, without other people, without it goes on no matter what. Sun's coming up, time's going on, and it's like you can either decide to be miserable and be stuck in different ways, or you can decide to move with it,
Yeah,
and have
bro.
fluidity and flow. So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
I've got sorry. I
Uh,
love that. I love that,
yeah.
bro. That is you're so right, and um you're so right, dude. And yeah, there's
I thought you were
nothing better to add there. I had a question for you that just popped up
go
in my
for it.
brain
Go for it. Ask
at
it.
that moment, and
Yeah.
I did
I
not want to
forgot.
just totally steamroll over
Go,
what
bro.
you
We're having a
said.
conversation. Ask. Go for it.
Oh
Go.
yeah, what years were you playing at LSU?
I was 08, 09, and 2010. My
Oh, you don't.
senior year would have been 2011. So I'm 34. So I got a couple years on you. We just missed
Very
each other.
cool.
But yeah, yeah.
Very cool, dude.
I
Yeah.
was around during that time though. So I was saying to some people earlier, when they were watching some pieces of the film or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was like, he looks so familiar. Like I bet you we crossed paths in the athletic department, film, all that stuff at some point
Oh,
because I would
probably.
always come back and train all the time. So just
Did you
even
know
seeing some
Alex
of the LSU,
Barra
her name sounds familiar, but
or
again, I'm more of like
Doug
face.
Acoin? Doug Aquin?
Yeah. I know
Yeah,
that name. Yeah, yeah.
they were over the video department. Like something really cool, dude, that like I am just so happy about whether or not it ever shows up anywhere, but like um Doug O'Quinn and Alex Barra, um basically I put a DVD of all my like best work on Les Miles's front doorstep and asked for a job.
Dude,
And
that was so cool. You put it. That was in the film. Yeah, that
yeah,
was
dude.
awesome.
And they and a couple weeks later, Alex called me because apparently Mrs. Miles reached out and was like, "Hey, this kid put this thing on there, give him a job. And so I'm
No
forever
way.
grateful to Mrs. Miles for sure.
Kathy Miles, the goat.
Oh yeah. And I got to meet her once and say thank you, and that was really cool. But they 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 created a job where for the first time in like college sports history, they were allowing student filmers that were almost like contracted out to film whatever they wanted. And so
Yeah,
like we got to film like the early days of social media content for LSU.
that's cool.
Like if you scroll back far enough, there's like random videos that we put on there because we were just like, dude, why aren't you guys posting videos on your social media? What are we
Right.
doing? Like
Yeah.
the stuff you're posting on there is shiz right now.
Yeah.
Let's play. And
Yeah.
so we got to and then now they have student filming positions at like every college, and it's
Yeah.
like it's so cool. And to know that like Caleb and I were the first is like nuts, dude. And we got to break all the rules before, because I know they have so many rules now for those student filmers. But dude, I legit got to go into Tiger Stadium whenever I wanted to, and just
That's
say,
so
"Oh yeah,
cool.
I'm
Yeah.
filming a time lapse," and I would set up a GoPro in a random spot and just go lay on the 50-yard line, dude. And it was a
That's
dream,
awesome.
bro, a
Yeah.
dream. And
And it was
I
probably such a fun time because like social media was so wild, wild west. You didn't know, and you were like educating people, but trying different shit at the same time. Like
oh
it's got to be
yeah,
so cool. Yeah.
we were just playing, dude. And I'm
Yeah.
grateful that LSU provided a playground for young creators. Like
Yeah.
they really, really did that for us. And they let us push the boundaries. And we didn't do anything. How do I say it? Like we weren't disrespectful with it. Like
Right.
we respected the trust that they gave us, and we ask for forgiveness sometimes, and we
Yeah. Yeah.
and sometimes we ask for permission,
Yeah.
and it was just,
Good working relationship.
oh bro, it was so cool.
Yeah.
That team there is just wonderful, man. And we got to shoot with one of the best seasons of LSU gymnastics, and with Coach Dee Bro and Jay Clark,
DD's the best. Huh?
dude, yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome.
they're all amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things before I let you go, that I was really curious about, I was like, oh, and then when Joe told me about it last week or whatever, I was like, dang, I can't wait to see like the evolution of technology, film, equipment, that kind of stuff. So talk me through really quick over the 10 years of filming, the changes you saw in cameras, equipment, access, technology, any of that stuff, because that was really interesting to me to think about.
Okay, wait. And I'm not going to be offended at all. Have you only seen the trailer thus far?
No, 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 I saw the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay. I
I
was
watched the whole
wondering.
thing.
I was like, oh, okay, because I was
Because
like,
when I watched the whole thing, I was actually really surprised. Like I was expecting in 2012, 13, it was going to be like really shitty quality,
yeah.
like in a lot of cell phone stuff. No, it was like the transitions, like everything was impeccable in my opinion.
Dude, those are it's Sony cameras, man. Sony cameras, GoPros, and iPhones were like
Wow.
my best friends throughout. And I saved for 2 years for my first camera. I worked at a hospital in Shreveport, Louisiana, at LSU Hospital in Shreveport,
Nice. Yeah,
Louisiana.
yeah, yeah.
And I got to transport patients from their holding rooms to the OR for surgery. And I got to make them laugh or pray with them or do whatever and just make them comfortable before surgery.
That's
And
cool.
one of my favorite jobs, dude, taught me life and death situations and really
Like
prepared me
actually,
for,
yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, for like on set life. And I love that now. But all of that to say, I started with a Sony NEX VG10, and then I went to a Sony NEX VG 900, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
900. And I wish they hadn't have stopped making these things, because they were like, they're my favorite camera. They're my favorite
Yeah.
camera. I wish they would have combined the NEX VG series with the Sony A7S series. But it went from NEX VG10 all the way to Sony A7S2, and that was like we finished the story of From My Eyes, finishes in 2021. And so
Okay.
that was the camera, that was the best quality camera that we had at that time. And
Very
so
cool.
But yeah, man, it was a really interesting thing that happened, because as Darrick starts to see more clarity in his life, the quality of the film gets more clear. And so
That's cool. Yeah.
that was just a nice little subtext, little thing that we didn't expect to happen. It was just a really special thing. And so,
Yeah.
so yeah, but that you get to see Darrick's eyes widen pretty much throughout the film by the final piece. And so
I
yeah.
love that little creative stuff like that. Like this, that's awesome. Yeah, the
Yeah,
little
dude.
branding in it. Yeah. All right. Well, this episode was so, in my eyes, like just heavy, like good, like just the wisdom that you kind of shared through your journey. Because I was going to ask you, what are some of the things that you've learned? What's the biggest takeaway? But you've shared your why, you shared the like incredible lessons along the way. But leave our listeners with one thing. I mean, again, you've inspired people to try different things and do these things. So I don't know what you could say left, but kind of leave something, leave your mark or whatever for our listeners before I let you go.
Oh, dude, I was like, God, what am I gonna say? And
I know, like,
I just remembered what my mom used to say, and it was, and I said it earlier, but like, start now. If you have a dream, if you have an idea and it's bigger than yourself and you don't think you can do it anyways. Start now. Um, um, go for it.
I love it.
If the thing standing in your way is you, like, dude, break through. And because if you learn how to break through yourself, there's nobody else who's going to be able to stand up against you. Like, especially when you're going at it with God, dude. Like, I'm
Mhm.
telling you. Um, and then surround yourself with people that want more for you than from you, and do the same for them. I could not survive without my family and my friends, and they're all the definition of that phrase. And because you become the people you surround yourself with, and so you better be choosy who you're hanging out with.
Yeah,
Um,
I
and
love
yeah,
that.
dude, I could keep going, but that's oh, and then lastly, live a life worth filming. There you go. There,
There
yeah,
you go.
yeah.
Mic drop. But no, I do like the one where say the one again with the what's the phrase? Surround yourself with people who want more for you than they want from you.
There you
Love
go.
it.
You
Love
nailed
it.
it.
No, that's awesome. Yeah.
And
Uh,
do the same for them,
and
though.
do the same for them. No, that's it. But I think I like try to think that I try to live like that. So that's where it's like it's interesting to continue to say that to people because you try to attract people that are similar and stuff
Yeah,
like that. But
dude.
that's I think the thing that I say about my business right now is I've been in business and ran a couple different businesses for 4 or 5 years or been in a couple different industries. Um and the employees and the team that I have right now are seriously like the best group of people that I've been around for wanting for the business for for me, it feels like for me and things like that, where I'm like, I'll do whatever for y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. And that's the energy you want to show up with every single day. So
And
I
dude, because
appreciate
like
that insight.
like the Bible talks about the two greatest commandments, man. Love God and love people, bro. Guard your heart, man. Out of your heart comes everything that you do. And if your heart gets corrupted, um, then everything you do is going to become corrupted. And so if you can
Absolutely.
just like, if you can go right back to like loving God and loving people, man, like wanting more for others and from them, even if it kills you, bro, because this world's not our home, man. This is just
I
boot
love it.
camp. It's just
Yep.
boot camp, bro. And
Yep.
so there's a lot more on the other side of tomorrow, man. And I'm excited. I think Peter Pan's yeah, Peter Pan yeah, it's Peter Pan. That's wild. That's the first time I said that dude's name and thought, am I saying that right? Peter
Yes.
Pan
Peter Pan. Yeah.
said, death is only yet another adventure, like great adventure. And
Yep.
yeah, dude. And don't get me started on movie quotes because I'll talk for another hour and a half.
Me too. I could be fluent in that. So maybe we'll do a whole nother podcast and just movie quotes. It'll be great.
I love that.
But yeah, but Derek, thank you so much, dude. This was really, really awesome. Congratulations again on that film and doing a project that has taken an extraordinary amount of time. You are now Malcolm Gladwellian, 10,000 hours plus. You are an expert at what you do. So you're a true outlier. But thank you. I really appreciate the time and just the insight, the conversation, the energy that you have. I know you're going to do great things and continue to do great things. I'm excited to follow your journey. And again, thanks for making some time to jump on with me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Easiest yes I've ever yesed. And
Awesome.
if anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. They'll probably add it, or you can. It's just at Darrick on Instagram.
I was just gonna say, give us all your, yeah, your social places and where you want people to go. Obviously, the YouTube channel
Oh
is
yeah,
where you
dude,
want
go
people to
watch From
watch right
My
now.
Eyes. Go enjoy it. Watch it with your family, and and then go hug your family. Hug your
Yes.
family, especially during this Christmas and holiday season, man. Like that is family's so special, dude, and you never get these moments back. You never do, and so and I'm
Yeah.
grateful for every one of them I get now as well. So.
Awesome. Well, have a great holiday, man. Thank you. I appreciate you.